Welcome to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Myself, Kelly Patrick, Tyler Bloyd in studio here at the wonderful Pee Wee Valley compound, coming at you for the Weekend Sports Buzz. We got some good stuff to cover today. A couple basketball games in the Bluegrass State. We had Kentucky beat Lipscomb 88-50 yesterday, and Louisville beat Memphis 87-78 in Memphis. Also, we get to look forward to Louisville playing in the Sugar Bowl against Florida in the Superdome on January 2nd. I'll be making the 10-hour and 40-minute trek down there for the big party on Bourbon Street. Get to live it up. So got a lot of good stuff to talk about.
God knows you Card fans can't go to a game without alcohol.
No,
good God.
No. And that's okay, Tyler. I mean, that's all right.
Just a bunch of silly alcoholics.
That's fair.
Totally joking. I do want to say, you mentioned it when you started to show our sweet Pee Wee Valley compound. We like to call it the High School Broadcasting Compound to be professional. Kelly, come on. But we are on 1450 to Sports Buzz, obviously, 1450sportsbuzz.com. But you can also check us out on KentuckySports.co. You can watch our show. Matt and Adam are killing it on highlights. They're throwing up pictures throughout the whole show. What we're talking about, you can basically watch it. I mean, it's a TV show for 2 hours. KentuckySports.co. Go up in the top right of the site. You'll see a radio stream. Click on that, and it should pull it right up, Matt. It'll pull it right up, right? Radio stream? Yep. All right, yeah, it'll pull it right up, and no downloads, I'm pretty sure. Unlike our last show we used to do, we had a just a terrible system, just a terrible platform. But now we're upgraded and ready to go, and I promise you, the show is awesome. I'm looking at it right there. They're going down the 1450 to Sports Buzz website, showing you all a little bit of is that the High School Cube? KentuckySports.co. So, yeah, I promise you'll enjoy it. Check it out, KentuckySports.co.
Yeah, definitely a couple pieces of good news. We're staying 9 to 11 on Saturdays, 10 to 12 on Sundays, but we've really increased the actual visual element of the show. We're having a lot more, highlights of different players,
our
which is
beautiful
great
faces.
For sports. Yeah, great for a sports show. Not only do you get to see our beautiful faces,
you can see my man Kelly Patrick here with his a fake headband on, throwing it back like Rocky. He walked out of his house this morning, and I just initially thought greatness is walking out that front door. It was like a light was shining around Kelly, and the Rocky theme song just started playing. I don't know what happened.
I'm pretty great. So
you are pretty great. Chris Hatfield joining us today here in the about 10 minutes or so. InsideTheVille.com
talk about some
contributor.
Good stuff for Louisville. A lot of exciting stuff going along around the Louisville program right now. You got to admit, Tyler.
There's a lot of good stuff going on in the Bluegrass.
There is.
The whole entire state is killing it. Look at Petrino Western. We're going to
talk.
I know your thoughts. We got to get your thoughts about that as well.
We haven't talked about that yet, have we?
We talked about that yesterday. Me and Mark. You know our thoughts. I got to get your thoughts out there since you're the Sunday man. Farrell Elliott, of course, 11 o'clock. Fantasy football is almost over. Playoffs, the final week, 2 weeks. So we're going to talk to him. He's the commissioner of the KFFSC Fantasy Football League. As always, every Sunday here at 11 a.m. But yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's start basketball because obviously the games were yesterday. There was a local upset. I want to start with that one first. We're going to get into depth and detail of it, but I would love to see Butler shrine a layup, Kelly, because they beat the Hoosiers yesterday in overtime. It was fantastic. Took down the number one team in the nation. It's like Indiana doesn't remember what happened when they beat Kentucky. They rushed to court. They realized that we're Indiana. We have the third most national championships ever, and we act like we've never been there.
That is a true example of some great basketball being played. You know, I love the Yum Center, probably my favorite arena out there that I've been to. I haven't been to Staples Center or anywhere like that, but Bankers Life and Casualty Fieldhouse is great.
Former Conseco?
Yeah, former Conseco. Same place, same company, really. They just changed the name. But that was a heck of a game between Butler and Indiana yesterday. You got to love seeing a team like, a Brad Stevens-led Butler who brings it every year. You always write him off.
Always write him off.
Always write him off.
Always write him off.
You got to say he's maybe one of the best coaches in the country.
I guess you can't. He went to back-to-back Final Fours.
No, back-to-back championships.
Back-to-back championships.
I mean, who does that?
Brad Stevens did it.
And then he turns down offers. And then that's true. Then he turns down offers to go to bigger schools.
His family's around the Butler area. I mean, locally, not far from here as well. I don't. One of the best coaches in the nation. Maybe, possibly so. I guess I want to wait until
on the floor. You got.
What is this team going to do in March? Yeah, you can upset a number one team, Kelly. It happens. Anybody can beat anybody. What happens from here out is what I want to see. Look at their team last year. Did they make the tournament? Was Butler in the tournament last year?
Good question. I don't think they were.
I think it's one of those things that Butler has got the name. Brad Stevens has the name, which he's going to get some guys, and he's always going to be a good guy. It's going to take him to be at a bigger program to be that good of a coach, in my opinion.
What I'll compare it to is maybe Calhoun. Although I think Calhoun did some better stuff at, I believe it was
I hate Calhoun.
Northwestern. But you got to respect what he's done.
No.
You don't.
No. I don't respect him.
2 titles, I believe. I mean, you don't have to respect what he's done.
I respect the titles, and I don't respect him.
That's fair.
Is that fair?
Actually, sure. Okay, but you got to look at an example like that of somebody, Coach K.
Okay.
So in the infancy of what Coach K did at Duke, or has created at Duke, did it look a lot like what Brad Stevens is doing at Butler?
I don't know.
That may be similar.
We don't know. We don't know what. I don't think
we can read books, Tyler. Pick up a damn book.
I don't think Coach K went to back-to-back championship games in his first 2 seasons at Duke.
You're right. It wasn't identical, Tyler. You're right. It was not identical. I think that what Brad Stevens is building, he worked in Indianapolis. He's an Indianapolis guy. He's not leaving.
Yeah.
I think that, I think he played for Butler. So, I mean, what he is building there, let's flip it around. Joe Paterno played at Penn State before they were what they are, stuck around, never left, and built them into a national prominent powerhouse. So, I mean, what Brad Steen is I'm sorry. Brad Stevens.
Brad Steen,
a lot of times
reporter.
You get Brad Steen and Brad Stevens mixed
Very,
up.
very similar characters.
Speaking of which, Brad Steen's actually grown dreads, and he has now a gold grill.
He's our Reds reporter up in the Cincinnati area.
He also covers Northern Kentucky.
Looking at the show right there, Kelly. Great. You got the highlights of the Indiana Butler game yesterday. Did you watch any of that game?
I watched a lot of it.
I watched a lot of it too.
I won't say I watched every second, but I watched close to the whole game.
The Louisville game was going on at the time. I understand that. It was a great game. Remy Abel, local Indianapolis kid, he was 1 for 9. 1 for 9 going into that final shot for 3-pointers. Made it to go to overtime. Obviously, Butler won. Huge win for Butler. Congrats to them. Don't want to stay too long on that.
Yeah, Yogi Ferrell
number 1 went down.
Had a big 3. Yeah, number 1 went down. Huge upset.
Looks like those
love it.
Dukies, who has beat both Kentucky and Louisville this year, will take the 1 spot. And I think we could both agree they're not the best team in the country.
I don't know who is the best team in the country then.
I still think it's Indiana.
Okay.
I do. I hate to say it. I hate the Hoosiers more. I might hate the Hoosiers more than I dislike the Cards.
Let me back up and look
have some
into
dirty
that.
Indiana
Let me
fans.
back up and look into that. Why all of a sudden does Kentucky hate Indiana so bad?
They
sucked for so long.
I've always disliked Indiana because my friends who like Indiana are the dumbest people I have ever talked to.
It seems this recent wave of hatred. You don't need to look any further than the Christian Watford 3-pointer. And then all of a sudden, it just birthed this. I see fans on the Facebook Kentucky vs. Louisville page who post on there only about how much they hate Indiana and how giddy they are that Indiana lost. Where's that come from?
When we
because of your hatred for Bobby
You're
Knight.
all about comparing things right now. Here you go. Kentucky, Indiana, Louisville, Memphis. The hatred. The hate is there from the past. The hate is always there. Look at the game between Louisville and Memphis. The fans, the players, the hate is there. You all hate Memphis, or Memphis State, as they like to say. I think that's a good comparison.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's the rivalry, the past, what's happened.
Are you jealous that Bobby Knight won 3 titles there?
No, I'm not at all. Why would I be jealous of his 3 titles?
I don't know.
Versus
It's
Kentucky's
interesting
8?
to me. They're not a natural rival of them.
War. Come on, natural rival. Come on. They're more of a rival locally than, in my opinion, not locally here in the city, but Kentucky, Indiana versus Louisville, Memphis. I mean, I think that's what it is. I guess let's ask Chris Hatfield when he comes on here
just a few minutes
moments.
actually.
Yeah, a few moments. But again, like you mentioned, Louisville did take out Memphis on the road yesterday. Kentucky beat Lipscomb from Tennessee. They came home to Lexington. They beat them up. Second half surgeons was just ugly. We're going to get into those games because there's a lot to break down for both the games. I want to talk Ryan Harrow. I'd want to talk a lot of Ryan Harrow today for Kentucky. On the Louisville side, Peyton Siva, it was kind of like he wasn't out there, but he was doing a lot. I don't know how to put that.
He wasn't out there. What do you mean?
It's like he wasn't there, but he was creating so much from the game. He was a quiet assassin, I guess, if you want to put it that way.
He had a big game, yeah. I think he had
very
19
impressed
points, 6, 7 assists.
19 points, and I didn't even see half of them. Like it was he was just there. And I was impressed with Peyton Siva is what I'm getting to.
Yeah,
But
he had a good game. 9 for 12 from the free throw line.
That's great.
We can break down the Louisville game.
We're going to talk about
a lot of things I was very impressed
really,
with.
Kevin
from
Ware,
Louisville.
Bohannon. There's a lot to talk
Kevin Ware
about.
stepped up for that big shot.
384-1450, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line. 414-1450, the Lotus Gunworks text line. Get it in there. We will read those right over the air. And of course, we're always brought to you by livingforless.org. Get on livingforless.org and check it out. $40 value for $15 right now.
Can't beat that.
Can't beat that. There's plenty of deals. Roosters, Boombah's Pizza. You name it, it's on there. If you're going out looking for a nice little dinner, nice little lunch, brunch, get on livingforless.org first because you'll save yourself some bucks. Hey, let's go to our break so we can get to our man Chris Hatfield, InsideTheVille.com. I know you want to talk Louisville with him.
Certainly. All sorts of great stuff going on in the Louisville program. Got to.
I know
excited.
He can't wait. Maybe we'll mention Maurice Claret. I don't know. We'll be right back on the Weekend Sports Buzz.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Give us a call on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
We're back here at the Weekend Sports Buzz, 1450 AM, 1450, thesportsbuzz.com. Get on KentuckySports.co, go click radio stream, and come check out our beautiful faces. Watch the video show. It's awesome. I've been watching it straight behind Matt and Adam. They're doing a great job on there. But we have Chris Hatfield online. Before I get to Chris, I do want to tease something real fast. After we talk to Chris, we don't have him, Adam? Oh, yeah, we got to call him. I forgot to give you a number. That's right. Anyways.
It'll be even more of a tease.
It'll be even more of a tease. Harlem Globetrotters tickets. We have a select number to give away. I don't know the exact amount, but we do have some tickets to give away. 2, 3. If you have you're maybe the dad and mom want to take your son, your daughter out to the game. It's January 20th. I believe there's 2 sessions. I'm not for sure the exact ticket sessions. I think there's a 2 and a 7 o'clock session. Regardless, it's January 20th right here at the Yum Center, Kelly. We're going to ask a question right after we talk to Chris and get him on the line. It's going to be a kind of reference with Globetrotters, maybe locally. And you got to stay tuned and call in if you know the answer when we come back from our break.
Will we accept text on the Lotus Gunworks text line?
No, you have to call.
Answer?
You must
have to call.
You got to call.
You got to call. 502-384-1450 to win this huge budget that we have at 1450 in KSCO. We're giving away tickets to the Globetrotters. So call in. Once you hear our question, call in. The first person to get through, get past our screeners over here, Adam and Matt, and answer the question correctly, will win these tickets.
It is. We're going to get Chris on the line right now. That was my bad. I forgot to send him the number. I just sent it on the little chat, guys, so get him up there. But yeah, it's courtesy of my guy Dave Spelker of Vipe Magazine. I think they're I'm not for sure if Vipe is a partner with them this year, but regardless, they're doing something. Dave has tickets, so it's going to be good. We're going to get those in. I know he is listening, and again, the question will come up here in about 10-12 minutes after we talk to Chris. So while we get him on the line, Kelly, we're going to talk Louisville with him. Obviously, he is the InsideTheVille.com contributor. Great website. Mike Hughes with I believe it's Scout.
Scout.com is what Inside the Ville is 247 Sports.
247 Sports. That's right. 247 Sports.
Previously Scout, but they are still bringing you the great.
Always get confused on the change.
Yeah, all the best of the coverage for the Louisville news at InsideTheVille.com, which is a member of 247 Sports.
Yeah, I mean they're always breaking news. They're always getting out good.
He's got the inside scoop. Both of them do.
Mike Hughes, Inside the Ville.
Yeah, Mike Hughes has got the inside scoop like nobody else.
It is. And we're going to obviously talk with basketball with him. Louisville beat Memphis yesterday, Kelly. And I watched this game because it was a fun game to watch. It was very physical. The crowd was wild.
It was crazy at the beginning. It was very reminiscent of like a NCAA tournament game or something like that, maybe back in the good old days of the rivalry where people would throw things on the court. Actually threw a knife, a blade was thrown out on the court.
Yeah, Mark said that yesterday. I actually forgot about that. I mean, that's
a lot of crazy
absurd
stuff. Yeah, there's some crazy moments in the history of the rivalry. They go back, I think, is it to the Missouri Valley?
Yes.
I think, Metro, Conference USA, Missouri Valley. So, I mean, they have a long history of just not liking each other.
And
I'll be honest, that's where I hate it. That's where I started hating Cal. Nonetheless.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. I can't hate on you on that one.
That's true, because I may have hated him at UMass.
You hated him. Anyways, let's go to the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line. He's on the line right now. Chris Hatfield, InsideTheVille.com. InsideTheVille.com. Chris, good morning.
Good morning, bud. What's going on?
Oh, nothing much. A fun show with my man Kelly right here going on right now. He's excited. Your Cards got the big victory on the road yesterday. You beat Memphis. What did you think about that game?
It was a fun game. I think in the first half you saw a little bit of guys get caught up in the emotion of the game, just the way it was going, the way it was being handled. I think in particular Russ Smith got a little too crazy with the one-on-one game, and you saw what's going to happen to Louisville a few times this season. They're going to miss shots, and they can't let it affect their defense. It happened against in the first game down in the Bahamas against Northern Iowa. But the difference was there is that team wasn't athletic enough to take advantage of it, and Memphis was, and I think they'd allowed to affect that in the first half, but they got back to it in the second half. They calmed down a little bit and got the ball inside, which was big.
Now, I know Kelly, he's a worrier. Were you kind of nervous when Memphis was up, I believe, 24-9, 11 at one point?
Oh, no doubt I was nervous, but I think sometimes we look for complicated answers about why the game is going the way it is, but I just thought it was simple, Play better defense, hit a few jumpers, they'd be right back in it. I think, honestly, I think the best thing that happened for Russ Smith was getting hurt. Not to say, like, getting hurt and being taken out, but it allowed him to step back for a moment and see we're down by 15 points. I've taken 8 shots, and I'm going crazy. And he even said that in the post game. He said that he got caught up with the fans in a little one-on-one play, but I think they got away from that in the second half. And it was really big to go inside because they just weren't hitting their jumpers. Peyton Siva shown some senior leadership and was able to take over the game. He had a 7-0 run by himself in the second half, and then that really sparked it for them.
Yeah, Chris, I agree with you completely on that. I was calling toward the end of the first half and the beginning of the second half for Louisville to start feeding the ball inside. I was saying either to Shane or maybe even Wayne, but just get some high percentage shots going. They really did that as Shane Bohannon scored 16 of his 22 points in the second half. What do you think about the statement Shane made yesterday by scoring all those points?
He gets the quietest double-doubles in the world. I look up and he's got 10 rebounds and 10 points, but it was big. He really needed that game to get his confidence back because I think we were all looking for the guy that we saw in the Elite Eight, and he just hadn't been there. He prefers to take a 8-foot fadeaway when he should back it up and use a physical body. I think he wants to be Dirk Nowitzki more than anybody in the world, and he's just not that. I love it when he is on the block, being physical. I think that's what he needs to continue to do, and I think that game was huge for his confidence last night.
I mean, I'm a Kentucky fan, but I loved watching this game because the Memphis-Louisville rivalry, we talked about, the little rivalry, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisville-Memphis before we got you on, Chris, but it was very hyped up coming into this game, and it lived up to the expectations of the rivalry. You couldn't ask for, Peyton Siva, he got an elbow. I believe he was bleeding. A couple guys banging down low. It was a physical game. I hope Louisville-Memphis continue to play every year on the hardwood. I mean, I don't care what the conference situation is. I always want to see them play.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it definitely lived up to the hype. It got it back last night. I think last year was a little bit different, but you could definitely feel the rivalry going back to the days in Conference USA and such last night for sure. Now,
did kind of not the game, but did you see what came out after the game? Maybe Rick Pitino yelled at some fans. I loved it. I can't say maybe the comments of what he said, talking about getting Memphis into the Big East or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome. Do you think he did that? And I'm okay with it. I don't know about you.
It wouldn't surprise me. I don't know for a fact if he did, but if he did, I love it. I love that Russ Smith turn around and shake his head when somebody said that his brother had more tattoos than him. He said that his brother is 9 years old, so he doesn't have really more tattoos than him. But I love it. I mean, I think that's what the rivalry's about. I think them guys like feeding off the crowd. Sometimes it can be a detriment, and sometimes it can be positive because they love to quiet them. So, I love it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Obviously, an ignorant fan confusing Russ Smith with Chris Smith from the team last year.
Yeah.
So he's thinking, J.R.
I think
Smith.
Commentators actually did that once as well.
Yeah, that's happened many times before for whatever reason. But, Chris, going forward, this season, college basketball is a constantly evolving process. You get to see your team maybe, fail. Louisville hasn't had a huge loss yet like they did last year, but they get better as the course of the season goes on. The main thing I'm concerned with about this team is their shooting. Looking over the stats from yesterday, I see a great performance from Russ Smith, 12 for 12 from the line. Louisville as a whole was 38 of 46 from the free throw line, 7 of 17 from the three-point line. In such a hostile environment, do you think that is maybe a big step they took forward as far as shooting the ball?
Oh, it definitely is, and I think it's contagious with guys. It starts out with Peyton Siva, if he can knock down a few jumpers. It starts out with him, and the team feeds off of it. But I really think they need to concentrate, particularly early in the games, is focusing on getting the ball down low, getting those high percentage shots, and then moving it from the out in.
I agree with you completely on that.
I think they're capable of hitting a few They're capable of hitting a few jumpers, capable of hitting a good threes. But they need to be at the right times. I thought, particularly in the first half, there were a lot of them forced, And when that happens, definitely with this team, they seem to allow it to affect their defense, and it affected them last night because Memphis was able to get down the floor and use their athletes to push the ball. I thought it was a really, really good matchup for Louisville. They needed a team that could run with them, and I thought Memphis could.
I kind of want to get on and keep it on basketball here, but off the Memphis game, Chris Hatfield, InsideTheVille.com, get on there, checking out great stuff, him and Mike Hughes. Gorgie Zhang, obviously he's expected to come back for the WKU game, it seems to be. When Gorgie comes back, this team, I mean, do they just take off and maybe solidify being one of the top teams? Everybody, obviously, they're already one of the top teams, but being Gorgie back and where they are right now.
I really think they do. You know, Gorgie was that guy who was a great rebounder, a great rim protector, and that's really the thing that they're missing right now. Is what's something that really troubled me last night was just through the whole game, not even the first half, but the offensive rebounding was just terrible. And I think that's where Gorgie comes in. He was rebounding the ball really well until he got injured, and I think once they get him back, that'll be huge. You'll have a great rim protector, somebody that people are afraid to drive after, and we didn't have that last night, but I think that'll be huge.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Chris, kind of transitioning over before we get you off the line here, football, we do have that game coming up for the Louisville Sugar Bowl versus Florida. It seems that Florida's fans aren't really interested in going. They've only sold maybe 7,000 or so tickets as of now. Are you going to be down there? Kelly will be. And what are your thoughts of the game? Will Louisville make this a lot closer than people are saying?
I'm definitely going to be down there. I think the big thing, what you want to do with Florida, is obviously a great team, great run game, great defense. I think you want to make Jeff Driscoll pass. If you get him in a 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, that would be huge for Louisville. If you make Jeff Driscoll pass, I think he's going to be make a couple mistakes. And then on the offensive end, I think that the offensive line is going to be critical in this game. Florida has one of the talented defensive lines in the country, and I think they definitely need to allow Teddy Bridgewater to get some time. And if they can get some sort of a run game going, that'd be huge. I think Lamb could be critical in this game if they can break out a few long runs with him and maybe sway the momentum in their way. But I think you want to make Jeff Driscoll pass, slow down that run a little bit, and the offensive line definitely has to come ready to play. But I think it'll be a closer matchup than people are thinking. I'm a little biased, but I think Louisville will be ready to play. We'll see what happens.
I got to agree with you, Chris. Got to be really excited about the numbers that are coming out. You know, Louisville's obviously going to travel well, going to be down there to support the team. I also agree with you on the Lamb comment. You know, Florida, what they have defensively is speed.
Yeah.
And, we got Jeremy Wright. He's fast. Corvin Lamb may be the fastest guy on our team. If we can get him going, even if it's screen passes, whatever it is, get the ball in that guy's hands and let's see what he can do. But that's what I'm looking forward to. So I really appreciate you coming on, Chris. We look forward to having you on again soon. Thanks
Probably
a lot.
next week or two. For sure. Louisville game, Kentucky, we got to get you on for that.
All right, no problem, buddy. Thanks, guys.
Anytime. Chris Hatfield, InsideTheVille.com. Always makes good points. I was walking up and down with him the sideline during the South Florida football game, and I promise you, everything that happened, he said right before it happened. He goes, Louisville's going to do this, Louisville's going to do that. And it happened. And he told me before it happened, they're going to go over. Whatever happened in the end is going to happen. About 10 minutes work. Chris nails it. He loves Louisville. He's at all the events. Follow them on InsideTheVille.com. I know we got some guys on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzzline, so let's hit them right now. I believe we have Patrick first. Looks like Patrick is. Patrick, give us a call back. We'll get you in here. Let's see here. Who's next? Trey, you on the line? Do we have Trey there?
We went a little over. If Trey or Patrick, if you want to call back in, 502-384-1450. We'd love to hear what you have to say.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It
seems that everybody always calls right when we always have a guest on.
Yeah.
We don't have.
That's all right.
We got, again, plenty of time to call. You got 25 minutes now. We have our Farrell Elliott at 11 to 11:15 or so. But after that, the phone lines are open. Call us back 384-1450. But you know what time it is, Kelly? They hung up in the right time to call back because we're asking our trivia question now. We teased it before to Chris Hatfield. Well, we'll get to it. Dave Spelker, Vipe Magazine, that would be Louisville.com, is handing us some Globetrotter tickets, Harlem Globetrotter tickets. I don't know the exact amount. I'm sure we can get you 2, 3, or 4. We might be able to get you a deal next week as well. But today it's the day. We're going to ask this trivia question. and you call 384-1450, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzzline, with the correct answer, you win these Harlem Globetrotter tickets for January 20th. It's right here at the Yum Center. It's a fun event, Kelly. Have you ever been to when's the last time? Have you, and when was your Harlem Globetrotters?
I went a few times when I was pretty little.
Pretty little.
I think it's been probably since I was maybe 12 or 13.
It's a circus-type event that kids love.
Yeah, kids love it. It's great. You get to see people consistently hit half-court hook shots.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
It's
That's
just
my
a
memory of it.
fun
It's just
game.
A bunch
It really
of flashy, talented guys. A lot of them are, former
college players.
Yeah, Wilt Chamberlain played there.
Yeah,
Joe, there's a lot of guys who played for the Globetrotters over the years. They got to be talented. The stuff they're doing, it's great.
So if you want these tickets, you need to call 384-1450. The question is, Matt's pulling it up on KentuckySports.co on the radio stream live show. The question, Kelly, if you want to read it.
Name the former Louisville Cardinal big man who played for the Globetrotters after his time at U of L. I do think that this question warrants an additional hint. I'll let Tyler determine what the hint is, because
I do.
I may give it all away.
You might give it all away. I mean, this might give it away as well. We'll give you a hint because we want you to win these tickets.
Yeah, we're on your team here.
We're on your team here. Exactly, it is. I mean, the question named a former Louisville Cardinal big man who played for the Globetrotters after his time at Louisville. Hint, he was also in the And One League. Kind of a knockoff of Harlem Globetrotters, but real games type of S. At the And One League. That's your hint. 384-1450, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzzline. Call in right now. Give us your answer. We're going to go to break and allow those lines to hopefully fill up. So we'll be back on the Weekend Sports Buzz. We're waiting on your answers.
It's the Weekend Sports Buzz. Tell us your thoughts on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
We're back here at the Weekend Sports Buzz. Tyler Boyd, Kelly Patrick, right here on 1450 AM. A great show going on right now. Thanks to our man Chris Hatfield of InsideTheVille.com for joining us last segment. Great breakdown of Louisville basketball. We're going to get Chris on, I believe, in about 2 weeks to start breaking down that UK U of L basketball game, which is played on the 29th. That's huge. But obviously, last segment we ended it with our trivia question, chance to win some Globetrotter tickets. Man, if you want to pull up the question on the video show real quick, I'll reread it. Name the former Louisville Cardinal big man who played for the Globetrotters after his time at Louisville. The hint we gave everybody was he played in the AND1 League. Kelly was a big fan of AND1. I always see him out in his yard, practicing like he was the professor, just getting it done right. Got the hair. Look like
Sure.
Yeah. But I think we have a caller or two with a guess. Let's go to our first caller, Karen. Karen, are you there?
Yes.
How are you today?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
We're doing great here in the Weekend Sports Buzz. I'm assuming you have a answer for the question?
Yes.
What would
Bob
that? Go ahead.
Bob Gibson.
Bob Gibson. Kelly?
I'm not familiar with who Bob Gibson is, I'll be honest.
Kelly, the Louisville fan here, is not familiar with Bob Gibson, the Louisville fan.
I'm familiar with the baseball player.
Yeah.
Is that who you're talking about?
Yes.
Oh, he did play for the Cardinals, and he was big.
And he played for...
He did not do AND1, though.
Yes, he did not play in the AND1 League. That was there's a couple guys. Who was your other guy, Kelly, that you had?
Alex Sanders could have been an answer,
Alex
but
Sanders.
we took it a step forward. We said, we got to separate them. Could have given a few different hints. Karen, we really appreciate you calling in. What type of, are you a Louisville or a Kentucky fan?
Louisville.
Great. You looking forward to the big bowl game? You going to Sugar Bowl?
Yes, I am.
Great.
That's awesome. Maybe you see you're down there. Karen, if our next caller doesn't get it, get on the internet, search it, and call us right back.
Okay, thanks.
All
I
right.
will. Bye.
Thanks for your guest, Karen.
Very, very creative answer there. Bob Gibson. I was thinking there's not a guy
That
named
would have
Bob
been
Gibson from the Louisville Cardinals, but obviously,
St. Louis Cardinals,
St. Louis Cardinals, great. Bob Gibson.
Look at that. You throwing you off the lip. Karen, we should maybe we can get Karen something anyways. I'll talk to Dave about that because that was a very good, intelligent guess there.
He did play for the Globetrotters. I did not know that Bob Gibson played for the Globetrotters.
I'll talk to Dave. So Karen, I know you're still listening. I'll talk to our man Dave. We might be able to help you out. Let's go to our next caller. Hink's on the line. What's up, Hink?
I'm a Kentucky fan. We all know Louisville sucks. That's bad I think I know the answer.
What's the answer, Hink?
I'm about Escalade.
Yep.
Escalade.
He is. You know who he is.
That is very true. Troy Jackson.
Big dumpster truck, a.k.a. Troy Jackson. Lord rest his soul.
That you're very correct. He passed away, Kelly, I believe,
a couple years ago.
6, 5. I mean, it was a little longer than a couple. It was a few years ago. I mean, do you remember Hink? Obviously, we all know you're a huge UK fan, but you remember him during the AND1 days?
Yeah, I remember, and he was. They had remember they had a little show where they was bringing up, other future AND1s that they was going on tour.
Yeah,
and they had, it's probably about 4 or 5 of them guys. I guess they was doing a reality show for AND1, and they had that one guy called the Wizard. I think it's the Professor.
The Professor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Skip to my Lou, Ray for Alston, always real involved in that. And
NBA?
Played in the NBA for a long time. I think Skip to my Lou, Ray for Alston is now retired. But Hink, you got to admit, when Troy Jackson played for Louisville, he was huge. He was 363 pounds.
Huge.
He was huge. He was 363 pounds, but he had some nice moves. Don't you think, Hink?
Hey man, he looked like a big old guard. You might be of a guard on a football team. Who could pull real good. But like you said, he had some skills for a big man. He real
really
good
did.
skills for a big man. He's one of them defensively quick type big man too. He wasn't just big man with some skill, but he was got a little speed to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so I remember every once in a while, Danny Crum was throwing him in there for the crowd as a crowd favorite.
Now, Hink, while I got you on the line here, obviously you are right. You're the winner. We'll get you tickets. We'll get a hold of you after the show. We've got your contact information. We'll figure out how many tickets we can get you. I wanted to ask you. We haven't talked to you for a few weeks here. Mark Stoops hired at Kentucky. How excited is Hink?
You know, I'm happy. I'm happy. Anytime you have a coaching change, you know, it's always fresh and it's always new. You know what I'm saying? It brings a sense of a goodness to the program. Some way, you know, UK fans could unite, because you still have a few UK fans, man, that didn't really want Joker to leave.
Yeah.
And I know why, because he's a hometown guy, you know, born and raised, and, you know, blew all the way. But, you know what I'm saying, it was a change had to come. You know, if we want to win, we got to do what we need to do to win. And if that means, you know, bringing in a new coach, man, so be it. But, hey, you know, I look forward to the high. I look forward to the game. I mean, that first game, you know, of the season's going to be good. You know, going down to Nashville, I mean, playing against Bobby Petrino, that's always going to be fun. So it's always going to be a thrill. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. And he might be heading his way down there. You know, I ain't never been to Titans before, but, you know, I'll make my first trip watching the greatest team in the Bluegrass.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Hank.
Hank, what do you take away from Kentucky's win over Lipscomb yesterday?
Yeah.
You know, it's a work in progress. You know, Camp Cal's going to be in full effect. So, you know, whatever we got to do to get ourselves prepared for a game in, game out, next Saturday's game, you know, saying we playing against, I believe it's Marshall. But, you know, I look at it, you know, I take it with a grain of salt. Yeah, we know it's Lipscomb. You know, Lipscomb's not that really good. But, you know, it's just improvements that we need. We got these freshmen, these young guys that are really trying to come in and learn the system, learn what Cal expects of them, as well as some of the veteran players who don't really get the chance to play a lot. So I was really impressed with Kyle Wilshire.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the way he played, and he was 7 for 9 for the game. So, you know, the stroke is there. He just got to get his confidence all the way. You know what I'm saying? So I just think it's a matter of time. I really like the way, you know, Noel was defending that basket, you know, getting them blocks and getting the ball out. That's the main thing, getting the ball out after you block.
I agree.
And getting a good run going. So that's a real big key, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree. I was very impressed with Ryan Harrell. We're going to talk about the game when we come back. Hank, I appreciate you calling, getting the inch right. Myself or Kelly will get in contact with you after the show's over. We'll get you on Facebook. I think I might even have your number. We'll get you your tickets allotment, however many you probably need.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about. Me and Lil Hank will be down there enjoying ourselves and enjoying watching the old Harlem Globetrotters beat up on the Washington Generals like always.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Well, Hank, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I'll talk to you here soon.
Good stuff. It is Sunday, and he did not slide in his trademark Louisville sucks.
He was very, very
good call there.
Great call. Yeah, that was.
We got a couple callers on the line here. I believe we got our man Hank. How you doing today, Hank? Not Hank, but Hank. How you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Just, you know, kind of trying to break down some of the basketball we saw yesterday. What do you take away from either Louisville or Kentucky's game yesterday?
Oh, yeah, well, Louisville, you really got to think, you know, I mean, for them to go on the road, you know, I don't know if you guys mentioned this, but that was the biggest crowd in the FedEx Arena this whole entire year, including Grizzlies games. So,
wow,
go on the road in a hostile environment like that, you know, without Gorgie Dang, I mean, you really have to look at this Louisville team as, you know, I mean, if yesterday showed us anything, everything is wide open, you know, and I have a really good feeling about this Louisville team. You know, just to be able to do what they do, especially defensively without Gorgie, I mean, you just have to be positives all the way around.
Now, what you said, Hank, about the biggest crowd at the FedEx, even Grizzlies, that surprises the hell out of me. The Grizzlies are good this year. They have one of the best records in the NBA, and they can't even sell out their arena. That's a joke.
Well, they get good numbers. I mean, from what they were saying, it was pretty average numbers. I mean, you really also kind of got to look at this, and you know, they're talking about, you know, Cincinnati is getting a lot of press, you know, for the Big East kind of collapsing like it has, but you know, you kind of got to look at Memphis. You know, Memphis plays in a pro arena. Mm-hmm. They're kind of, you know, the team without a home right now. You know, as far as a pretty much a top-notch basketball program. Not saying that Cincinnati's not.
I totally agree.
Subject there.
No big deal. We like getting off subjects.
With you know, the 7 Catholic schools going to form their own league, you got to wonder where a program like Memphis and even Cincinnati, you know, kind of where they're going to end up, because as Hank mentioned, they're, you know, toward the top tier of basketball programs in the country. So they're kind of homeless out there right now with with still having some good fan support.
Yeah, definitely. And I think with basketball, it can work itself out. It's just, kind of the fans are going to be, I think, the one that bites the bullet for maybe a couple years. Maybe having to travel a lot, go independent. I really don't know. It's really a little bit scary, if you kind of think about it. For someone that, two programs that can draw like Cincinnati and Memphis do, and not be able to get in the conference because of football.
Hank, to shift back to your feelings about the Louisville win in a hostile environment yesterday, I'm trying to read into it. I'm obviously a Louisville fan. I'll admit that. They went 7 of 17 from the three-point line yesterday. I see them making progress with their shooting, both from the free throw line and from the three-point line. What do you think about the long-term potential of this Louisville team and their outside shooting?
Well, I don't think it's ever, it's never going to be, they're not going to be Butler. If I think Butler is the complete opposite. I think they obviously showed yesterday that when they're on, they can literally beat anybody in the country. But with Louisville, if they didn't defend, I think it would be an issue. If they go completely cold, obviously that can hurt you in a tournament game. But, with their size, length, and depth, I think is a huge issue. I really don't even see, as long as Louisville shoots it moderately, with there being no dominant team, I still think they're definitely right in the mix.
Now, Hank, I wanted to, if we're getting close to the top hour here, before I let you go, I wanted to get your thought of college basketball. I've said it, I think, for the last 2 weeks now. I think Indiana is the team to beat, and I think they will win the championship. I could be wrong. Who do you think is the team that will win the championship?
I mean, it's really too early to tell. I mean, if you wanted my honest opinion, I really think Louisville.
Okay.
I really think Louisville without Gorgie Dang. I think from what it showed, I think Indiana was exposed yesterday. I think if you can really get Indiana going up and down like Butler did and spread the floor, that you can somewhat neutralize Zeller. Like, he still had a nice stat line, but I don't think that he was that dominant presence. And bigs can get their points, but it's where and how they're getting their points. And I think Louisville can do that with Zeller. So I really think Louisville, but Arizona was a great game.
Yeah, they did.
You got to throw Arizona in the conversation. There's about 8 teams, I think.
I think you're totally right. You go, obviously the triangle. I mean, even Kentucky can squeeze in there if they figure it out and win it. Florida could get there. Syracuse, they're loaded. I mean, there's some teams that are good. There's no 2012 Kentucky team this year, but there's a lot of good, great teams, and it's going to be a fun, I'd say, the rest of the 3 months we have left, 3.5 months of basketball. Hank, we got to get you back on for next weekend for a little bit longer segment. Of course, the UK U of L game's coming up. We got to break that down.
Oh, definitely. And real quick, guys, I don't know if you saw the Florida-Arizona game, but it was eerie, similar to the end of the U of L Florida game. It was very, very eerie, similar how they finished that game off. But I'll let you go, and thanks a lot, guys.
Anytime, Hank.
I did not see that, so if that's true,
I turned it off.
I remember the Louisville-Florida game from last year in the tournament. Then that must have been one exciting game. I think Hank, we got
he's
possibly the best college
right
basketball analyst in the world.
KentuckySports.co contributor in the
Yeah,
world.
No, I like the point he made about Zeller yesterday. I saw a certain play where senior Andrew Smith from Butler just manhandled Zeller. He just pushed him out of the way, grabbed a rebound, and scored on him. I mean, Zeller is the kind of unanimous number one player in the draft, I think.
I think he's number one
going
in all
into the season
mocks right now.
Yeah, so I mean, but he still, for being a center, he gets manhandled by some experienced, big, physical guys at certain times.
Fine. He's good.
He'll be fine.
Let's go to Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzzline before we get to the top of the hour. We got about 5 minutes to go. Carolina Steve is waiting. Carolina, how are you today?
Just fine. Y'all mentioned the Harlem Globetrotters brought back a lot of good memories.
Okay, let's hear it.
I go back to when the man from Wilmington, North Carolina, Meadowlark Lemons, was playing with, and Curly Neal from North Carolina A&T.
Sweet Lou?
Those were two of the best. The way that Curly Neal, there's only one man could dribble better than him, and that was Marcus Haynes from the original Globetrotters.
Wow.
And there was only one man who was a better comedian than Meadowlark, and that was Goose Tatum from the original Globetrotters.
Now,
and by the way, the Globetrotters, I don't know if y'all knew it or not, actually defeated the NBA champions one year.
I actually heard that, yeah. Now, Carolina, you're a very well-rounded sports guy, obviously. How many different types of Globetrotters teams have you witnessed?
Probably, I started watching them back early in the 60s when they'd be on Wide World of Sports and everything. I've probably seen, 10 to 15 different teams, that they've had out there of people. If you go back, Wilt Chamberlain played with them.
Yeah, Kelly mentioned that.
I don't know if y'all knew that or not.
I actually mentioned that earlier in the show, Carolina. Yeah, the Globetrotters have went through some interesting transformations over the years. You got, I think, I mentioned to Tyler yesterday, your man, Tyler and Kentucky fans, assistant coach Orlando Antigua was actually the first Hispanic player to ever play for the Globetrotters. Joe B. Hall was involved with the Globetrotters. Mm-hmm. A lot of great guys. Alex Sanders we mentioned. I mean, really interesting to kind of track the history and the progression of the Globetrotters franchise.
Bob Gibson, who Karen mentioned.
I didn't know about Bob Gibson, Carolina. I'm sure you're familiar with Bob Gibson. Did you know he played for the Globetrotters?
That was what I didn't know somebody had mentioned. I missed party hours when I had to come up here in the country, but Bob Gibson, Hall of Fame professional baseball player, played with the Globetrotters. Connie Hawkins, y'all remember him?
Yes. Yep. It's crazy. Karen
his son played with him.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Go ahead.
It's going to be probably a couple weeks before I talk to y'all again because I'm heading to God's country.
Okay.
Up to Tobacco Road for 10 days. But I want to wish everybody there a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And and Tyler, I loved your post last night on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. That was very interesting. Obviously, it had a little bit to do with the Connecticut issue and, some political views. Now, this isn't political views, stupid views. Carolina, we'll talk about that maybe one day off air.
I'd like to because what I put as an answer to you, the governor of Indiana, Mitch Daniels, has ridden with those people I'm talking about.
That's crazy. Well, Carolina, same goes for you. Enjoy your trip. Be safe on your trip. Have a Merry, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and call us as soon as you can.
Yeah, and I'm going to stop next Friday at RCR, so there'll be some pictures of the 2013 NASCAR cars posted on there live from RCR Racing. Y'all have a very good Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Love you, show.
Thanks, Carolina. Go ahead. He threw out my Facebook. Said it was the Westboro Baptist Church people. I just say that and leave it there. If you want to get on Facebook or Twitter, I'm on @Boyd KentuckySports.co. Kelly, you're at the longest Twitter handle in the world.
KentuckySports.co. Not the longest in the world, but nonetheless, it's a super. super Twitter profile.
It is, and of course follow
Twitter handle.
Of course, follow 1450 the Sports Buzz by searching 1450 Sports Buzz and search KentuckySports.co and follow us. It's @KentuckySports.co. You'll enjoy it. News right at your fingertips. Kelly, I know you are a big fan of the topics when I throw out the random news. Maybe it's today in history. We got a quick minute left in bottom of an hour.
Tell me you have a trivia question for me. Throw one at me. I haven't looked at the document.
Of course you didn't. 1973. Who was the first NFL to rush for 2,000 yards in a season?
I did see this on there, but I already knew the answer to this. It was O.J. Simpson. So let's take it to the next step. Who was the second person to do it? Was it Terrell Davis?
TD.
If someone can call in and tell us who the second person to rush for 2,000 yards in a season was.
We might have a ticket for you or so. Yes.
I'm going to look it up. There may have been someone else. Did Earl Campbell do it?
You get that.
I'm going to look it up.
While we're on our break.
We'll bring it back to you.
1972, Kelly. Miami Dolphins became the first undefeated NFL team in history. Obviously, they went on to complete the undefeated. They were very glad the Patriots didn't succeed. I believe it was 3 years ago, and the full 19-0.
Mercury Morris,
Yes.
Morris, and all them getting out the champagne glasses. Howard Schnellenberger was actually on that 1972 Dolphins staff, so kind of the godfather of Louisville football.
Couple birthdays locally. Big-time Kentucky guy, Kalen Azubuike, one of the hardest dunkers out there. He's throwing down hard. Billy Ripken, MLB. William the Refrigerator Perry, former Chicago Bear, great. He could have had 100,000 touchdowns if he wanted to. Rapper Flo Rida, because I know Kelly likes him. Anyways, this is Weekend Sports Buzz. We're going to come back next hour with Farrell Elliott, KFFSC.com commissioner. This is the Weekend Sports Buzz.
This is the Weekend Sports Buzz. Call in on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
We're here at the second hour of the Weekend Sports Buzz. Loaded first hour, Kelly. We just had a great first hour. Thanks to all the callers. If anybody wants to get in, we have obviously our guest coming on right now for about 10 minutes or so, and then it's open phone lines. The rest of the show, we want to talk to everybody. Get in, Patrick, Trey, if you all want to call back with your thoughts. Congrats to Hink for winning the Globetrotter tickets. We will be asking another question next Sunday. Karen, if you're listening, tune in next Sunday. We're going to do another trivia question. Keep it kind of local with Globetrotters as well, and we'll make it. We'll try to make this one harder, or maybe easier. I don't know. Was that hard, Kelly?
I don't know. We should be more specific with it. We should have said the Louisville Cardinals, because obviously Karen was the St. Louis Cardinals.
That's a good point.
Yeah, we need to be a little more specific. I was impressed with Karen. Actually, Karen,
we might be able to do something. I'm going to talk to Dave.
Call back in. Get us your contact information.
We'll get that. But yeah,
Matt will put together a prize package for you.
Yeah, Matt, straight out of his pocket. This segment is brought to you by Jamie Cox of Keller Williams, Louisville East. Fantasy football, Kelly, is almost over. That's why we're talking to Farrell. But if you are playing in that fantasy football playoffs, maybe that final week or two championship, you need that winning strategy. When you buy or sell a home, allow Jamie Cox of Keller Williams Louisville East to put together a winning game plan for you. With interest rates near an all-time low, there has never been a better time or buy or upgrade. For personal attention, effective marketing results, contact Jamie Cox 502-593-5454 or email him directly, jamie@thederbycityrealtor.com. That is JAMEY at thederbycityrealtor.com. We appreciate Jamie for being part of the KFFSC and us. We're going to extend our relationship with Jamie, so you'll be hearing a lot from that. We'll get a new awesome read for the new year coming up, maybe a basketball one. But Jamie Cox Williams, Keller Williams, Louisville East. Farrell, it's on the line. Farrell, good morning, sir.
Fellas, I cannot stand by and let you guys do a disservice to the listeners. You said fantasy football is almost over. Did those words leave your mouth?
I'm sorry. It's never over in the fantasy football world.
It is never over. Gotta live it. No, that's the.
It's true, Farrell.
You guys are doing a great job of living. I got to tell you. Hey, how about that Indiana Butler game last night, fellas?
Oh my gosh, that was great, wasn't it?
Do you believe I'm leading with some college basketball?
Hey,
I cannot.
That's why Farrell is well-rounded. He can talk about it all, and that's what we like to do. Farrell, I mean, number one was bound to go down, right?
Yes, yeah. I suppose that always happens. You know, we've got a number one in the KFFSC that last week he made the choice of playing the wrong defense. It cost him about a 30-point spread in what he could have done with the defense that was on his bench and the defense that he played. And consequently, it's opened up the league now where a lot of teams are gunning for our number one. That's John Duckworth out of Atlanta and his team, Wayne's World. We've got, guys, 10 teams that are within 40 points of the lead in the KFFSC, a $7,500 prize at stake, and 5 bids to the FFPC in Las Vegas in September of 2013. So it's going to be an exciting 2 weeks as we wind down. So these are the most exciting 2 weeks, but you know, the fellas, our guys, you two included, it'll be getting ready for next year before we can even think about it.
Oh, we were actually talking, we were talking about it on the way up here to the show. We already cannot wait for next season. Obviously, we're not in the running for the money, but I'm still winning. Kelly's going to win he's already won our battle between me and him points over the last 6 weeks or so. We can't wait for next season. I know Kelly, though, Farrell, he's in maybe the semifinals or championship of his basement league. I know the key term, the basement league, that who was it from Wisconsin loved that term.
Everybody loved that term. They got a big kick out of the basement league term. I finished in one of my leagues, Farrell, not the KFFSC, but the another one. I finished 10-2. I had a bye. And going into this week, I am still alive. So I was also very proud. The guy I'm playing against had Ahmad Bradshaw. I saw he was questionable. I put in a waiver request to pick up David Wilson, and I'm now starting David Wilson right in my opponent's face. What do you think of that, Farrell?
Well, obviously the gentleman who's in the basement, who has Bradshaw and doesn't have Wilson, is is obviously got some training to do before he gets ready. I'm saying that to play in the KFFSC, I'm saying that your experience here with us has positioned you to make these kind of moves, and I'm very impressed with it.
I totally agree.
Wilson really looked like a great addition. He's obviously running on fresh legs. All he's done this year is return kicks for the Giants. I think Coach Gruden on his Monday night analysis hit it about right. Wilson and Martin were next to each other as running backs. Tampa took Martin. The Giants took Wilson. If you had interchanged those players, you would have got a similar story and similar production from Wilson in Tampa Bay as what you've had in Martin this year. Two great running backs coming into the league.
I mean, who would ever guess that Doug Martin would be the number 2? And who would have really guessed that Adrian Peterson off ACL would be doing what he's doing? I mean, that's the fantasy football thing that you just don't know. Obviously, I had the number 1 pick. I took Shady McCoy. Well, I shouldn't have took Shady McCoy.
Hindsight's 20/20.
Exactly. And that's what makes fantasy football so intense and so week-to-week stressful, and I love it.
Farrell, before we get into...
What do you guys have in your lineup today that you've got to move forward in this competition that you're in? Who are you dealing with?
I have so many injuries, Farrell. It's not even funny. I've been injured over the last week. Kind of what I wanted to ask you, Kelly. Go ahead with yours. I'll get to that next.
My only real dilemma that I'm facing this week, Farrell, is I'm hoping Roddy White plays because I need to start him or I need to sub in Michael Crabtree, who has become one of the favorite targets of Colin Kaepernick for the 49ers. I don't know. I've got Roddy White in there. He's questionable. He's never missed a game. But I've also got Michael Crabtree.
We're going to go with the name brand of Roddy White here, unless he doesn't play, of course. And then you've got a nice lineup change to put in Crabtree. What time is that Atlanta game? Is that a 1 o'clock game?
Great question. That is a 1 o'clock game, Farrell. So I gotta really stay on top of it between now and then.
Yes, you know soon enough. Don't fall asleep on. I know you're pretty busy between now and 1 o'clock. Keep an eye on that. But it's just the production that we've had from Roddy White this year. He's on the field. He'll continue to produce.
I agree. Now, Farrell, what I wanted to ask you was RG3. He will not play. How big of an impact could that be for fantasy players in the KFFSC?
Significant. Guys that have had Garcon as a receiver have really enjoyed him stepping to the forefront. You can still trust this player and put him on the field. He's going to be the number 1 target from Cousins, who's a good backup quarterback, but you can't expect that kind of production. Now, if you're from Cousins that Griffin was getting, now, if you've been relying on Griffin, who's the number 1 point scorer in the KFFSC this year, you can't replace that. Hopefully you've got some kind of quarterback fill-in that can step up. But if you fell asleep at the switch and had guys like Alex Wilson, perhaps, or Alex Smith, rather, as your quarterback in that situation, if you fell asleep and you don't have depth at quarterback, you could be in trouble. But whoever has RG3, they're going to get 10 to 15 less points from the quarterback that they're going to move into the starting position.
That's the worst time if you have RG3 being the basic number 1 quarterback in the last week or two of your leagues and he can't play it. I mean, I'm glad I'm not in that predicament right now. Farrell, maybe again, Farrell Elliott, KFFSC commissioner. That's the Kentucky Fantasy Football State Championship. You can get on KFFSC.com to check it out. I promise you it's fun. The draft was months ago, obviously, at the Horseshoe Casino. I can't wait for the next draft. But, Farrell, give a tip or two to the people that are in the running to win their league, like the KFFSC.
Basically coming down, everyone's in the same situation you guys are with injuries that are up and down the roster. So what you've got to get into a situation with is just making the very, very careful lineup decisions. Don't go on a feel. Think about it all week. Sometimes you can follow your gut instinct, and your first instinct is usually the best. But watch the matchups. Listen to the experts like you guys as you
of course,
give the injury updates as we move through. Go to the websites, follow everything you can to see how you're going to get that edge, because somebody's going to end up winning this. We've been through all of this since August, and somebody's going to end up winning it by just a few points.
Yeah, I would totally agree. Again, I mean, Pharaoh, it's hard for me to. I mean, I've updated my team. I can't. I hope I win because it'll make me happy. I'm a winner. I'm a competitor. But what do guys like me and Kelly and other people need to do to look forward to next season? Because there are way more people down and out than still in the running.
Guys, I like to immediately print up all the numbers of all the players at the end of the year.
Uh-huh.
You look at who did best over the season and who closed strong. You follow the coaches, follow the coaching tree to see the movement in the off season, and there's going to be a lot of movement. There's going to be movement in coaches. There's going to be movement in players. And if you've always sit there and if you said Lance Kendricks is a wonderful tight end with the St. Louis Rams, but they don't throw the tight end much. Well, if there's coaching changes on the offensive side of Coach Fisher's staff that brings in a coach that runs that type of offense, now you're starting to upgrade. So you begin to follow the trends of what the expectations are for the players that you watch this year. And then you decide also, guys, you've been riddled with injuries. You maybe if you've been playing some of the older players and drafting some of the older players over the years, start looking for young, explosive players, guys.
I think you totally agree, Kelly. We talked about that in the initial weeks of the league and right before the draft was. What about maybe a Chad Johnson or a Ocho Cinco? What about a guy like a Terrell Owens if obviously he made it? Farrell was strongly against the
Farrell
old guys.
Hates those guys.
Plaxico Burress. Farrell, you hate old guys. You do.
I love them in reality. And I love, we could argue that Roddy White's an old guy.
That's true.
We could definitely argue that Tony Romo is an old guy. Some of the younger players in the league, DeMarco Murray, Darren McFadden, I wouldn't trust them because of their injury history. A guy sitting next to me in the draft, and he said, I will never draft Darren McFadden because of the injury risk. I said, I think that's pretty wise. He sits next to me, the seventh pick of the draft came up, and he yelled out Darren McFadden. And sometimes you just can't help yourself because of the explosive nature of that player. You say, well, if he does stay healthy, he'll be one of the best in the league. But, he's proven that he can't stay healthy. For whatever reason it is, some players are injury-prone and other guys are workhorses. A player that's not going to go in the first round but has first-round numbers this year, my guess is he won't go into 2013, would be Morris, the running back in Washington. And I think there's a player who's a workhorse.
What about Doug Martin next year? Will he go in that first round?
I'm sorry, brother. Say it again.
I said, okay, you said he might not. Well, obviously a decent, good year. What about Doug Martin? Will people trust Doug Martin?
You're not kidding. Doug Martin is a first-rounder next year. Richardson goes up towards the top. Foster's still first.
Yeah.
McCoy falls. Ray Rice may fall a little bit, but those are your players that are still in there. We'll still sit at the end of the first round, and you'll scratch your head about what to do with Forte. Mm-hmm. He's off my list. I love the player, but again, just not enough forces around him. You take a look, guys, at a player that everyone was very, very excited about this year, and teams that just didn't know what to do with him, and that's Ryan Matthews. And there's a coaching change. If you can find someone that comes to San Diego and says we're going to make Ryan Matthews a star, then he stays in the first round. Adrian Peterson may probably be the first or second pick up there with Foster. So yeah, it's going to shake up a lot, and the first quarterback off the board next year is RG3.
Yep. Now, Farrell,
That's crazy.
I have to ask you a question. Kelly, he was wrong. I don't know if you listened earlier, but obviously in 1973 today, O.J. Simpson was the first NFL running back to rush for 2,000 yards in a season. Does Farrell Elliott know who the number 2 was? Who was next?
Who was next to rush for 2? Earl Campbell.
Nope. We stumped Farrell. Yes. Who? Kelly, answer?
Where did this one come from? The next guy to rush for 2,000 yards? It wasn't Chris Johnson.
It's a similar runner to Earl Campbell, I think.
1984, Farrell.
1984, Mark Sallis.
No, it was Eric Dickerson.
Oh, Eric Dickerson. He sure was. And then that beautiful Rams in that beautiful Rams gold and blue jersey out there in L.A. He certainly was.
That's very true.
Earl Campbell was actually, and it's beyond my, before my time, but Earl Campbell was my guess for the second. He actually never ran for 2000. I researched it. What do you think of my historical comparison, being that they're both before my time, though, Farrell? What do you think of me comparing Eric Dickerson and Earl Campbell and saying they're similar runners? Are they?
No, two very, very
Gosh!
Campbell could run through and over anyone. There's never been really anyone like him since him. He's terrific speed. Dickerson is a runner much like the guys who are in the league today. I would put him more into the Adrian Peterson mode. He's much more like that kind of player.
Weren't they both tall, though?
Pardon me?
Weren't they both kind of tall running backs, though?
Oh, yeah. Dickerson's a very big guy, very tall, very angular guy.
Yes.
Okay.
And when he came out of school, I remember the O-line scouts. I was very, very young in the business back in those days. But the O-line scouts, Craig James was his backfield partner at SMU. And the scouts would say, well, hell, that player's done well, but he's got a horrible running style. One of the reasons he's been successful is he's had James leading the way for it. James is a real key to his success. And, of course, that was all a bunch of nonsense. Those were the same scouts that drafted Dan Marino as the 7th quarterback in 1983.
That's a good call
Some
there.
of those guys didn't stay in the football business that long.
Totally agree. Well, Farrell, we appreciate you. A little longer segment today. Next week, we're gonna fantasy football never ends, so we're gonna be talking Farrell. But we're gonna try to start stumping Farrell at the end of all of our topics. So we're gonna have a good question for you next week as well.
I will study. Take me back to the '60s with some good American Football League questions. There you go.
There you go. We'll look into that. Farrell, enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye-bye.
On the Weekend Sports Buzz, I always like to mix in some historical stuff, even if it is before my time. I loved the question Tyler gave me a few weeks ago, NBA trivia. If any of our callers have an NBA trivia question, throw it at me.
Throw it at Kelly. He loves being stumped.
I don't know all the answers, but I love the historical stuff. Farrell's a great guy to ask about him. Were you going to get to Karen?
I got two things.
Okay. What
First,
do you got?
We'll go Karen first.
All right.
Karen, if you're still listening, or if somebody is familiar who Karen is, and you want to inform her this, our guy Dave Spelker of Vite Magazine was listening. He texted me and said, let's see, where'd it go? There it is. Karen had a very clever answer. We will hook her up with some free Chick-fil-A if we can get her to call in. Douglas will answer. He'll get your phone number, your address, Karen. So call back 384-1450. We want to get you this because that was an awesome answer.
Anytime you answer, and it's Bob Gibson, who was a Cardinal, like our question was, and Bob, a Hall of Fame pitcher, 9-time All-Star, 2-time NL Cy Young Award winner. He actually won the 1968 National League MVP Award as a pitcher.
That's crazy.
So great answer by Karen. Call back in. We'll get your contact information. Yep. Dave Spelker of Vite Magazine coming through with some great free Chick-fil-A for you.
I want to say this as well before we get to our break, as Christmas is 9 days away now, Kelly. We're getting so class. Is your shopping done? Is your shopping done?
It's
or
just
should
about
I say,
done.
Is your wife shopping done while you sit on the couch and tend to your bloody noses?
Yes, our shopping is about done. I think we have 2 more, one of my uncles, one of my cousins. I'm very fortunate my wife takes care of all the shopping. I haven't bought a single gift.
Good. That's the way to do it. But send to Santa a call.com. We're 1450 Sports Buzz, Dugan Ryan, partnered up with Big Brothers Big Sisters, great organization, and they have now sendasanta.com. To do that, this was basically having Santa call your child and give them a little message. There's multiple messages on there, like meaning of Christmas message, telling them to be good, quit being naughty. You can choose. What you do is you get on send a call to that special child from Santa on sendasantacall.com. Choose from 3 different types of calls: Merry Christmas, Be Good, or The Meaning of Christmas, where Santa reminds the child of a true meaning of Christmas. Imagine how surprised they'll be. They'll get the phone call from jolly old Saint Nick himself. Sendasantacall.com. The call is only $5, $4.99. When you enter the donation code BBBS for Big Brothers Big Sisters at the checkout, a portion of the proceeds goes directly to Big Brothers Big Sisters. That's sendasantacall.com, or access the site by clicking on the Santa from our website, 1450tosportsbuzz.com. And don't forget to enter the BBBS as a donation code at the checkout. So get on there, help out big brothers, big sisters, and enlighten your child's morning with a call from Santa.
Good stuff there. I know my brother last year actually went to sendasanta.com. Great company, great website.
Yeah.
And got one for my both of my kids. So they really liked it. They get to work on a little, whatever it is that the parents identify as being an issue that they need to work on. Maybe Johnny needs to quit, fighting with his sister. You need to listen to your parents. You can address it, and coming from someone like jolly old St. Nick, it really hits home with the kids.
It does. It really does, especially the young ones. So get on there, sendasantacall.com. We'll be right back. The Weekend Sports Buzz, 384-1450. The phone lines are open.
That's me, DC. And my man Steve Rowland. We're kicking the flow. And it goes a little something like this. Tag team back again. Check it to record. Let's begin. Party on, party people. Let me hear some noise. DC's in the house. Jump, jump, rejoice.
You're listening to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Tell us your thoughts on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
How do I say that I need to move on? You know we're heading separate ways.
We're back here at the Weekend Sports Buzz. Karen, give us a call, 384-1450. We want to get you your free Chick-fil-A for that clever answer. If you can't get to the phone and you want to send us a message on Facebook, it's KentuckySports.co or KSCO. You can easily find us on there. Send us a message. Let us know who you are. We're going to get you your free Chick-fil-A because Chick-fil-A is delicious. And if you don't want it, I might ask Dave if I can have it, because it's delicious. Again, 384-1450, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line, and 414-1450, the Lotus Gunworks text line. The Weekend Sports Buzz is always brought to you by livingforless.org. Get on there for great deals like $40 values for $15, Boom Boss Pizza. I mean, you can't beat free stuff almost. I mean, when you're saving $20 off of a dinner date, a lunch day, you can't beat it. So livingforless.org. Check it out. Kelly, let's get into a little Kentucky basketball for a minute.
All right.
So we talked Louisville a lot with Chris Hatfield inside the Ville.
Certainly.
I wanted to mention, UK beat Lipscomb. They beat them up, 88-50. Lipscomb came out hot. It was one of, we're here to beat Kentucky. They kept it close for 15 minutes or so. Then once the second half hit, it was all Cats. What I took from this game was, before I get to the game, Mark Stoops at halftime. Kelly, he was the why. The first time that, they did the spelling of the Kentucky and, hey, bring out somebody to do the why. Well, Mark Stoops was brought out, standing ovation from all 20,000 and 22,000 fans, yelling Stoops. It was awesome. He pointed at the crowd, get the ovation. It was awesome. KentuckySports.co radio stream right now, the live show. Matt's playing the video right now. It got me. It got me butterflies in the stomach. I loved it.
It's good to see that much, not just from the fans, but I think our man, what's the quarterback?
Tim Couch?
No, the sophomore now who played a little bit. Darn it.
Are you talking about
Patrick Tolles from Northern
Kentucky?
Kentucky.
Fresh. He will be a sophomore.
So guys like that coming out and just giving real votes of confidence.
Max Smith couldn't be more excited.
Yeah,
One of his tweets.
An interesting thing that the Stoops camp has already done is they offered Kyle Bolin a scholarship, even though he is maybe the biggest promoter of the Louisville program from the Lexington area. For some reason, the previous coaching staff didn't even offer him. So they're making a statement. They probably know they're not going to get him away from Louisville, but they're making a statement that they're going to offer him anyways, and that they want everybody to know that they're serious about what they're doing. They support local guys, and there's just a lot of positivity around the Kentucky program.
You nailed it. And not just Bolin. They got James Quick and Jason Hatcher to both take a visit to Kentucky here within a month. That is huge. I don't think either of them will be Kentucky Wildcats. The chances are slim to none, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they offer Dalen Dawkins, their teammate, and they all want to go play together because Louisville's not offering him. You don't know what happens.
You never know. They could all end up at Western, but probably not.
Probably not. James Quick would have a field day with Bobby Petrino passing the ball every time,
wouldn't he?
But it's huge that the Stoops and the staff can get these guys to get interested, because when Joker and his staff there were last month, they weren't going to visit. Now they are. That's huge. Mark Stoops, the why. It was huge. But the basketball game, Kelly.
I was going to make a point about the basketball game.
Go for it.
That's all right.
Oh, yeah.
I liked, as I was talking about in the previous segment, I like historical NBA trivia. I like stuff like that. One of the stats that kind of sticks in my head is, our man John Stockton's actually the all-time leader in assists and steals in the history of the NBA, which is great. You look down the all-time leaders in steals for the history of the NBA list. Who do you see sitting at number 8? Hakeem Olajuwon. Hakeem Olajuwon, the number 8 guy, a 7-footer, probably 6'10", 6'11". Mm-hmm. Number 8 all-time in the history of the NBA in steals.
Yes.
Why do I bring this up? Our man, Nerlens Noel.
I love him.
On record to set, certainly for centers, to set records as far as steals.
He's up there in the Rondo numbers with steals.
Which is amazing. So, not only is Nerlens Noel, he's a different player than Anthony Davis. We can't compare him really.
5 blocks behind Anthony Davis only, 39-44 at this date, this mark of games.
His defensive presence is not just in the blocking shots numbers, but he is on a pace to do something similar to what Rajon Rondo did with the steals.
Now,
How many steals does he average a game? I'll bring that up.
I'm pulling it up, the overall steals.
It's amazing
right
what
now.
he's doing as a center, as a
He is-
clear
okay, here you
post
go.
player.
28 steals, Kelly, right now. The next closest is 11 at Archie Goodwin. Then you have 10 at Willie Cauley-Stein. He has 28 steals.
How many is that a game?
Let's see, a game. I would assume. Let's see. What is their record? Is it 8, 7, and 3? It's 7 and 3. So 10 games, and he's at 28 steals. So 3.5.
He averages 2.8 steals per game, which is
2.8.
amazing for a center. 10.7 points per game.
I was close.
2.8 steals, 3.9 blocks. So not only is he blocking shots, but his presence is really being known all across the defensive side of the court, which is
rebound.
huge.
He can rebound great. I told you on the way up here, I love his physicality. He's kind of mean out on the court. He will throw an elbow. It was a slight elbow. He will push you. He's mean. I like his physicality. I wish Alex Poitras could take some of that, because if Alex Poitras got that, he's just going to blow up. But that's what's holding back is his excitement level, I guess. But I mean, Alex Poitras is a stud. But what I took from this game, I talked about it, Mark, yesterday. What I wanted to see happen was Ryan Harrow, and it happened. Ryan Harrow had the best game, without a doubt, of his UK career, short UK career. Obviously, he was a transfer, didn't play last year, and sat out most of the beginning of the season due to being sick, whatever was going on there. But Ryan Harrow had himself a ball game, Kelly. I believe he ended with 12 points, just 2 assists. But after the game he was coming, and I think those stats are wrong. All I do is pass. That's all I want to do. I want to get the ball on my team. He's getting his teammates in the right positions. He's getting into the paint, allowing other people to be open, like Kyle Wiltshire for 3. He hit 7 of them, as Hink mentioned earlier. He's doing what a point guard needs to do, and that is the way that Kentucky can improve. I can already tell a difference from 3 weeks to today. It's not huge, but there is a difference. As Calipari was mentioned after the game, he's basically still not happy. Camp Cal kicked off before we woke up. They are 100 miles an hour going at it, and I love it, and I hope it doesn't stop, because this team's just going to get better and better.
Yeah, what Ryan Harrow did was he played 31 minutes yesterday, 6 of 13 from the field.
Great.
You're right, he only had 2 assists, but he had no turnovers, and he promoted the type of offense that moves the ball around. Willie Cauley-Stein actually recorded 4 assists. So even if Harrow is not recording 5-6 assists a game, he's really going at it, and he's helping to get the offense set up and things working. I know that's against Lipscomb, but you're right. Harrow playing, even if he's a poor man's Marcus Teague, his play is vital to the potential
Lipscomb
of this
has
Kentucky
2
team.
very talented guards and twins. They're good players. One of them was like 4 for 5 3-pointers, 3 for 4 threes. They're good guys, big, strong guys. So, Harrow, he's not the biggest, he's not the strongest. But he was out there playing physical, getting into the paint. He was talking. He even said, I was screaming nonsense just so Cal heard me talking. I mean, he might have just been out there screaming with his high-pitched Eric voice, getting him hurt. And I love it. I'm excited about Ryan Harrow, especially since we are 2 weeks away from the big rivalry game. This is the next big game for Kentucky. They play Saturday. They'll take on. They'll have to go another week of practice before they go and take on. Marshall comes to town. Pretty simple victory in my mind again next Saturday. But then the 29th, Kelly, rolling around the corner. UK U of L right here in the Yum Center. Louisville's next game. You all are Wednesday, I believe, or Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
You got a game. You pull up the schedule. I can't
FIU on Wednesday,
FIU,
and then we got Western on Saturday. I believe. I'll bring it up.
Who is FIU? Who's coached by FIU?
Little Slick Ricky.
Little Slick Ricky. Yeah, Richard Pitino taking over his first year head coaching job. I hate it. I don't hate.
You do.
No.
You hate him.
No, I meant to. I don't hate him. I hate Masiello for some reason. I think he's going to be a really good coach.
Who?
Rick Pitino Jr. Richard.
I could have sworn you had an opposite. You thought Masiello would be, but you didn't think Rick was.
I changed my mind.
Oh, okay. So you flipped.
You can flip.
You can flip.
If you admit it, right?
You're admitting it. You're owning it.
I'm flipping.
You're now saying Massey
I'm
won't be.
No, Massey. I'm not saying anything about Masiello. I think he could still be a good coach as well. I'm flipping with Richard. Something over the last few weeks I've been looking into. The players seem to love him. I've read some stuff about it. They seem to love him. They like what he brings. Obviously, he grew up Pitino. He knows what he's doing basketball-wise. I hate to say he could be the next, not upcoming Rick Pitino, but maybe the next Brad Stevens that gets his team to do something special that they aren't supposed to. A Shaka Smart type of guy. I think so, and I'm excited to see him come to town. I think our man John Hancock will possibly be at that game covering it, getting some good photos, so you can check that out on KentuckySports.co. But what did you take, Kelly, I know you talked about it with Chris earlier. Bohannon. Was that your take from Louisville's game?
It was. Bohannon, coming alive for 22 points, reminiscent of the regional player of the year the regional MVP in the tournament last year. That's huge. For Louisville to not be the strongest three-point shooting team out there, despite Rick Pitino historically being the type coach who relies on shooting threes, for them to do that, they need some consistent play from the post offensively. Not so much just rebounding, doing the grunt work type stuff.
Kentucky needs to learn to rebound. I'll tell you that. But, yeah, go ahead.
Not so much just the rebounding, things like that, but they need some offense. And the guy to bring that is Shane. Shane has the offensive moves. Sometimes he takes some ill-advised shots, but when he is on, he gets his little pump fake going. He takes some real high percentage shots, which Gorky also does. But I really think Shane's the type guy who we need to step up in order for this Louisville team to reach their true potential this year.
Gorky will be back. It'll take him not long to mold into having Gorky back because, they've been playing together so long. So once Gorky's back, I expect Louisville to obviously improve a lot. But Gorky, he was at 8 points, 8 rebounds, but him being there at 6'11" is just a factor. Louisville, Indiana are I think Kansas, and the more I think about Syracuse are my 4 teams that are my leading today. I can flip-flop today. Final 4 candidates.
Wow. Okay. As long as you're comfortable being a flip-flopper, that's okay. All right. So Syracuse, yeah, you're right. Syracuse is a strong team. They got their point guard getting arrested for shoplifting, but they're good at putting stuff like that to the side and kind of moving forward. They're always going to be tough. What is it, Michael Carter-Williams? Is that his name?
I believe so. They also have James Sutherland, who is a monster. He can go inside and outside. I hate Syracuse because Jim Boeheim doesn't coach. Go play defense by standing here, and there.
He coaches.
I like Rick Pitino's comments over the weekend or week, whenever it was, Friday. He's a great guy. He's just not the greatest coach. Whatever it was, quote-unquote, from Pitino, I loved it, taking a little shot at Boeheim. Because Boeheim always takes shots at Kentucky.
Well, if you can execute in college and it's a zone and it works, why not do it?
Anybody can run a zone.
Okay, well then go do it. If you can run a zone dominant like Syracuse does, go do it.
He gets good. He's a good recruiter.
He recruits guys who are great for his zone, who are long, and they can execute it. And I like to watch a team that plays man-to-man defense more.
Yes.
I admit that. But at the same time, I don't care. If I'm following Charlie Strong at Louisville, if he can play the ugly ground and pound type of game and win, I don't care. All that matters is winning.
That is really the key to everything is winning cures all. Louisville lost to Providence by 30, went to the Final Four, it cured all, right? Kentucky lost 9 games, went to the Final Four 2 years ago, it cured all. Winning fixes everything. Before we get to our break, Kelly, I do want to mention something.
Let's hear what you got.
I do want to mention something. Maurice Cred,
Maurice Claret.
Great human being. Great human being. Been arrested, been in jail, blew Ohio State, blew the NFL. I don't even want to know what else.
He won a national title, though. About 10 years ago, I believe.
Yeah, he did.
I believe it was a true freshman. I'll look this up. Almost unprecedented in the world of college football. Maurice Claret burst onto the scene, kind of a chubby running back, dominated. They won a national championship. If you're an Ohio State fan, which I don't know how many of our listeners are, you got to say he's one of the greatest players
to go through,
maybe in the history of college football.
He dominated. That's
he really did.
You can use that word when it came to his freshman year, but now his recent comments really interest me. I made more money at OSU than I do currently in the UFL. Did you see that?
I did. Yep.
That's well. First, it's Maurice Claret. How much do you believe him? I don't know. Second, why would you say that? You must hate your university. And third, is it true? I think it is. Ohio State's paying. Somebody's paying. They've been in trouble once.
Tressel.
And
it may not have been Tressel.
Somebody.
It may have been some of the boosters. When you have a big program like Texas or Ohio State or programs like that, there's boosters.
Sketchy people.
They give you free tattoos. They do all sorts
cars.
of different stuff. So I don't think Maurice Claret is completely making that up. I don't think that, the UFL?
UFL.
I don't think you make much money there.
You're still making some cash.
How much?
I don't know. We'll pull that up.
$40,000 a year.
So he's making more at OSU.
That's true.
That's a lot of cash.
That'd be impressive if you were making $40,000 a year for Ohio State.
Yeah,
that's big.
That's
I
huge.
remember one story about Maurice Clarett. He was so paranoid. I think he was involved with some underground criminal activity.
He almost got charged with murder.
Yeah, so he comes out, some form of paranoia. Someone's out to get him, so he gets caught outside someone's house, just strapped with all sorts of guns. I think he had some vodka.
Oh God!
And he just got sent to prison. He was like getting ready to just go crazy, but. He has a very checkered past. Very interesting comment.
Now everybody forgives and forgets so easily. So you know that.
He did pull out one of the greatest things in 2002, though. Can't back off from there. His freshman year, he led the Buckeyes to a national championship. What Jim Tressel kind of hangs his hat on.
He did. Let's go to our break so we can finish up the show. The last segment. We'll come back if you want to get in. 384-1450, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line. We'd love to chat with you. This is the Weekend Sports Buzz. He just has a murder case.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Tell us your thoughts on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
Would you yell it from the rooftops down until it's over and you're older? I feel so alive tonight.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. We got a jam-packed show this morning. A lot of good stuff to talk about. I did want to let you all know that the show today, and this segment in particular, is being brought to you by Franklin Taxes and Accounting, services residents and business owners nationwide. We offer financial planning, tax preparation services, estate planning, LLC and corporation setup, and forensic auditing. We can help any corporation or small business with payroll, monthly financials, bookkeeping, and much more. We're located in southern Indiana at 611 Watt Street, Jeffersonville. Contact our friendly and dedicated CPA, Marcy Franklin, who has over 15 years of experience at 502-424-1179, or check out our website, franklintaxes.com, for further information. We are committed to providing expert advice and meeting every client's individual needs.
Committed.
Good stuff there from the Franklin Taxes and Accounting folks.
We hope
really involved in the KFFSC. Great friends of the Weekend Sports Buzz and 1450
Do you
overall.
remember that when we were at the draft? I'm going to go to your video in a minute, man. I know you're waiting. The lady that came up, can I get on the radio?
Yeah, I do. Real weird lady.
Real weird lady. She made it into the. She's one of the. Like, she's there. She could win it again. She obviously made it to the I Want to Go to Vegas League, I believe it was.
Hopefully
last year.
She's not listening, because she weirded me out.
She came up, and I promise you, she creeped us out.
She either had not slept that night or was just on a straight meth bender.
I'm going to go with number 2. Anyways, we mentioned the birthdays earlier. Clint Azubuike, Florida. Well, there's another one Matt mentioned. We saw it on Facebook. Kentucky women's basketball coach Matthew Mitchell. KentuckySports.co, the radio stream live show. Matt's playing his dance from last year's Big Blue Madness that we recorded. It's awesome. He was doing who was that? Oh, this was this year's. Okay, this was this year's.
He's just a dancing machine. Some people are born to be dancers.
I'm a great photographer.
And some people are not. Matthew Mitchell clearly was born a dancer.
His women's team, top 10. Louisville's women's team, top 10. Both of them getting it done. Sports around the University of Kentucky and Louisville are great. Matthew Mitchell, I love having him as a women's coach. I don't think he'll be going anywhere for a long time.
Why would he?
I mean, he's got talent coming in, talent there. So happy birthday to Matthew Mitchell.
He's got a state that loves basketball. I mean, this has to be a dream come true for a women's basketball coach, is to, all basketball fans, in my opinion, are at least somewhat open to the idea of their favorite team having a really good women's team.
Seems to be turned into a combination state now that Charlie's at Louisville. We got Stoops and the hype coming back to Kentucky, and Bobby, Mr. Petrino at Western. What are your thoughts quickly? I know we got about 8 minutes. What are your, Kelly Patrick, thoughts of Bobby Petrino going to Western? Because I know you're like me. I'm very open.
I love it. I love, Bobby Petrino to Western. I think it's a no real risk type of hire for Western. The way that the contract is structured, even if he were to leave after the first year, Western would actually come out on top. I love the hire, not only for the Hilltoppers, I love it for the state. The state of football within Kentucky is, you could make an argument it's stronger than it's ever been, especially on a Division I level. I mean, this is a brand new Division I college football program in the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, and they already have, in my opinion, maybe a top 10 coach in the country. So if you make an argument that was a bad hire, I would love to hear your rationale. I will laugh in your face. 502-384-1450. I say it's a genius move. A lot of people don't like it. They don't think Bobby Petrino's a good guy. I'd love to hear your rap on your whole life. I'll say that he's, who is a good guy? I don't know. I mean,
you're not.
I'm not claiming to be a good guy necessarily.
Matt definitely isn't.
Oh my God. No, but
laser.
Seriously, Bobby Petrino's done some bad things. He's left employers in horrible ways. He's made some bad decisions, PR, and on many different levels.
He's left every team better than they were.
He wins.
He wins.
He's good at his job.
He's great. We're both on the same page. Bobby Petrino, standing ovation to Western Kentucky. We love it.
We'll have the Bobby Petrino cardboard cutout in studio with us soon.
We will. It's going to be right behind us, just so Mr. Petrino is right here. I'm glad we have that. We're going to get that back from this 1450 studio, bring it over to the KentuckySports Broadcasting studio. But again, it was a great show so far. A few minutes left. I want to get it out there. KentuckySports.co. Definitely get on there, check it out. Great Louisville, Kentucky. State news, Eastern Kentucky. John just posted a blog how Eastern Kentucky's undefeated. They're taking on the top ranked team, Illinois. Eastern seems to be doing well. It's great on there. And, of course, 1450tosportsbuzz.com. You can see the full show lineups for all day, all weekend. You got Mason and Myers in the morning, inside the press box in the afternoon. The Freak, John Renshaw. We got it all.
The only locally owned sports radio
Larry
station.
Glover. Can't forget Larry Glover.
You can't forget Larry Glover.
Can't forget Larry Glover.
A lot of good stuff, whether you're a Cards or a Cats fan. It's the only locally owned sports radio station in the city.
Partnered up with Big Brothers Big Sisters, Fight Magazine, livingforless.org, sendasantacall.com. All the good stuff here at 1450. I promise you, it's fun to be a part of this crew. I love it. Kelly, I guess, Louisville, they're playing their next game. We mentioned that Wednesday, a couple of days off in between. What are you looking for in the next 3 games leading up to the Kentucky game? Is it the emergence of Gorgie to get him prepared or get him ready, back fully healthy? What is it?
I think Gorgie's presence alone will be extremely valuable. He's not the type guy who has to come in and get a lot of shots up in order to really impact the game. Mm-hmm. So he could almost walk right in, play against Kentucky. I think we'll win.
It's going to be a good game.
It'll be that.
You said in our chats 6 points.
Yeah, Louisville will win by 6 or more.
That's the 6 or more. Now you're bumping it.
Yeah, they'll win by at least 6 is my bet that I've went on record as having with Matt McCarthy for $50.
Oh!
Louisville's going to win by 6 or more. Matt, any comment on that?
No, he doesn't care about you.
Matt?
Louisville's
going to win by 6 or more. I'm throwing it out there. I mean, I'm not really even going out on much of a limb. Louisville is a better basketball team than Kentucky.
Matt, what do you think?
No, it's like you said last year. I think somebody made fun of my comments last year. That it's a rivalry. It's going to be close. No matter how much better one team is than the other, it's always going to be close when you're playing each other. Not always, but usually rivalries are pretty close. I don't think it's going to be 6 points. And that's the reason I made the bet.
No, that's fair. I mean, you're right. It's always, when it's a rivalry, it always has the potential to even come down to a last-second shot. Kentucky could win this. Bets are, all bets are kind of off when it comes to rivalry games a lot of times.
So your bet's off? So now you're backing. So now Kelly's backing out on his $50 bet that he just threw out there.
No,
all bets are off.
I took $50 from Matt this time last year, and I'll do it again this year.
So you're just basically making a living off of Mr. McCarthy. Classic. That's awesome.
He has to respond.
There's a poll on ESPN right now, Kelly. It's which is the best team in college basketball.
Okay.
You got Duke, Indiana, Michigan, Syracuse, or other right now. Who do you think is number one throughout the 80,000 votes?
Duke. What are the options?
Duke, Indiana, Michigan, Syracuse, or other.
I'll say Duke.
Duke is 37%. Coming in next, other 21%. A lot of Kentucky and Louisville fans are probably voting right there, if I had to guess. Indiana, 18%. Michigan, 16%. Syracuse, 8%. I have, it seems, I've predicted 2 of those Final Four teams in there, who is the best. But you never really know. Notre Dame, they can make a run to the Final Four. They have shooters. They're a decent team. Mike Bray, he's sketchy in the tournament.
Yeah, I would not want to face them in the tournament. You're right.
No, there's plenty of teams out there, and that's what makes college basketball amazing. The news we didn't really talk about because I can't stand it, and I don't want to talk about it anymore, and I don't think Louisville fans either because they're in the ACC. It's done with for at least 3-4 years, maybe forever. The Big East has collapsed. All the teams have officially announced they're done. The 7 Catholic schools, leaving basically Cincinnati, South Florida, UConn, up in the air. It's crazy, Kelly. You never expected this 10 years ago, right?
I didn't know what to expect. Conference realignment's always a real unpredictable type thing.
Glad it's over.
I'm glad it's over, too.
At least locally. I don't care what happens
I'm glad it's over for right now. I won't say it's over.
It's over for now.
Well, I enjoyed last night, not to take over the last part of this. I watched some good boxing last night. I got to see Nonito Donaire, the Filipino Flash, 122-pounder, junior featherweight. He won last night against legendary Mexican boxer Jorge Arce. Nonito Donaire will probably be the number 1 the fighter of the year for ESPN and all the publications. 122 pounds, great fighter, coming off the heels of a Mexico versus Filipino bout last week between Manny Pacquiao and Juan Manuel Marquez. That's the state of boxing right now. Some good stuff last night between HBO and Showtime.
KentuckySports.co.
I'm loving boxing right now, so just wanted to get that in there.
KentuckySports.com. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you all next weekend.